Hello, I'm Dale Petrock. It is over the Christmas holiday, the New Year's holiday here in southern Indiana. It's been winter, so I haven't gotten out to the range as much as I would during the fall, spring, and summer. And the weather this week has been pretty cooperative, so it was about 50 degrees. I decided to go out and shoot at the 22 range at 50 yards. Now, because it's 50 degrees, I don't typically use my more expensive ammo. I use practice ammo, so I use TAC 22 here, and decided to go out and see how well the TAC 22 does with ARA and IBS targets. Now I have some older IBS targets, not the most recent version, and several people have asked me in terms of the targets how they compare to one another, so I thought I would take this opportunity to take a look and show you how they compare. Now, I realize I'm trying to traumatize you a little bit. It's the winter holiday, and my wife got me a new dad shirt to drive the children nuts, but it's holiday themed, so I can only wear it once a year, essentially. It's got my cat, Jasmine, on it with a Santa Claus hat. So we're rocking the new shirt. In any event, how do the targets compare? Well, they look much the same. I'll slide over so we can, assuming my chair cooperates, slide over so we can get some space on the screen for them. You can see how the two targets compare. Each one requires one shot at each bull. You get a certain number of sighters, and the main difference is that each has a 1/2" 10 ring. So the main difference is that with the IBS target, you're shooting what's called best edge, and with the ARA targets, you're shooting worst edge. And so there's a lot of information out there on it. This is just to give you kind of a brief start to it so you can go look for yourselves for more detail. The IBS target has many rings, and there's essentially 3 rings on the ARA targets. The center on each target, again, is 1/2", and there's a wider, heavier line around the 10 ring on both of them. Then the next ring out for ARA is 3/4 inch, and that's a 25 ring, and then the outer ring is 1 inch, and that is a 10 ring. And so the scoring for that is in the upper left corner of an ARA target, and you can kind of take a look to see how that's done. The best edge scores on the IBS targets, and again, the 10 ring is 1/2 inch. The 25 ring on the AB or ARA targets is pretty equivalent to the 8 ring on the IBS targets. So essentially 25 and 8 are pretty close to one another. Both are about 3/4 inch. There's probably not much reason to discuss scores worse than 8, because you're probably not going to hit a lot of those in any case anyway. So when I shot the 2 targets, you will see that I did the best ever I have done with TAC 22 on the ARA unlimited target, and that was a 1385. I essentially shot the same kind of score with the IBS targets, and that way that one scored is that has 250 points possible, and I shot a 245. So on the ARA target, it was 1385 out of 2500, and 245 out of 250 on the IBS target, and that gives you kind of a sense. Now the difference, of course, is that that worst and best edge makes things feel a lot different. You can kind of look at the targets and see that, for example, if I could not break outside of the 1/2" ring on the IBS target, there are several of those that wouldn't have scored a 10. Number 1 would have been, for example, not a 10 as you go along, that kind of thing. And we see, for example, 9 probably, or target 5 on the IBS target probably would have been an 8 or a 25 instead of a 50 on an ABA target or ARA target. I'm having trouble this morning. I'm not sure what the deal is. Maybe more coffee. So you can get a relative comparison of those. Certainly, when I shoot the IBS targets, I feel much better, but everybody I think probably does. And the ARA targets are much like my USAS 50/50 targets at 50 feet. They're really difficult to kind of capture a good score. But it makes a big difference when you're shooting TAC 22. The IBS target is going to make you feel a little better about how the process goes because of the way that ammo has for variation. So an inexpensive ammo probably is more encouraging if I'm shooting the IBS target for me than the ARA target, which is going to point out all my flaws and weaknesses, where everything has to be essentially under 1/4 of an inch at 50 yards in order to score a bullseye on or a 100 on an ARA target. So you can get away with a little lot more leeway because it's best edge with the IBS target than you can with the ARA target, which requires essentially 25 shots to all be under 1/4 of an inch at 50 yards to score a perfect target. I'm going to have some shooting video of the IBS target after this. The video of the ARA target didn't turn out, and that will kind of finish this out. So let me know if there's any questions. Have a great day.